So this year's N7 day was very eventful, and in my opinion it was the most exciting and most insane 7 day to date. So today I'm going to give you a full breakdown of what I saw, so let's dive right in. The first thing we saw was the blog post. We got a message from our favourite guy, Mike Gamble, and the majority of the message wasn't much, but there was this question, and that was, who really died? Which to me meant they are still considering what choices are canon, including the endings. But more on the endings later. Right after the message there was a merchandise section of the post, and in the text there was a binary code perfectly hidden in plain sight. At first it really looked like if someone had bad writing. But no, it was clever hiding of the binary code that when translated it is epsilon, a word from the Greek alphabet and one of Mass Effect's concept titles, the Epsilon Effect, which sounds alright, but Mass Effect sounds way more cooler. We also had 3 countdowns where each countdown revealed parts of the teaser trailer which you saw. First was Epsilon, and the second was Ocalon, and the third was Nebula. All of these were rejected titles for the first Mass Effect, which is interesting. They revealed snippets of the teaser, and at first I thought it was Liara. Then the second snippet revealed a little more and showed the N7 strip, and then I thought it was Shepard. Then the final snippet obviously shows the full appearance, and it wasn't confirmed if it was Shepard or not. But I'm not gonna lie, I was hyped and I was hoping that the character would be revealed. But instead we got a cryptic look at the character, with the only thing we know is that the character works for the Alliance and is N7. The figure appears to be female, but I'm adamant that we'll see a male version too. But the fact that the female variant is used means they are basically focusing on the female version being marketed more, because back when the original trilogy came out, male Shepard was mostly promoted until Mass Effect 3. So it is an interesting change, but whoever it may be, it will likely be down to these two, either Shepard or a new protagonist. Now, I made a video a while back about whether Shepard should return or not, and how a new protagonist can work. You can view that video in the description below, but the protagonist at this point is very unlikely to be Ryder, since how would Ryder get from the Andromeda Galaxy to the Milky Way quickly unless Meridian allows for faster space travel? And the armor design is more human than Asari also. I doubt that Liara would become an N7 because she is the Shadow Broker, so I think Liara is out of the question. Some want to say that this character is the villain or the benefactor, but I doubt it. I think this character is definitely the player character. The outfit itself is really badass. It gives me Blade Runner and Matrix vibes thanks to the trench coat. The pistol in the character's hand has a more futuristic look compared to most of the pistols in the originals and Andromeda. The pistol has a suppressor as well, which is interesting because apart from the M11 pistol that we used in the Mass Effect 3 Citadel DLC, no other weapon had a suppressor. So could it be that bioware are adding more stealth elements or even making Mass Effect more espionage focused? Because last year they called us agents, and this character that was revealed looks less of a military soldier and more of a secret service agent, more likely to be an N7 agent and not an N7 soldier like Shepard. But it's a good idea, and I think games like Splinter Cell, Metal Gear Solid and Deus Ex are great examples for Mass Effect to take from to incorporate stealth. Also, Andromeda is yet again referenced. After the countdown there were pieces of cryptic text with the Epsilon page saying Andromeda distress signal detected, which clearly states that they've got something from the events of Andromeda. Maybe the Quarian Ark plays some part in this, or maybe this is another distress signal. Whatever it is, it has something to do with Andromeda, which means me and most creators were right. In some way or form Andromeda is playing a significant part. But somehow bioware might have managed to find a way to merge both the original timeline and the Andromeda timeline, whether that be by converging Mass Effect 3 with Andromeda or maybe through a prequel, but it's interesting nevertheless. Also, you may have not noticed, but in the teaser you can probably just about make out the hidden figure that has the same sort of structure as a Krogan. So if that is anything to go by, then it's safe to say that either Rex or Grunt could be returning, although in my opinion I hope it will be both of them. Also, Mike Gamble posted this image shortly after all that had happened. In this image we can see our protagonist, but just where I highlighted there is a part of an image that seems to be a new successor to the Afterlife bar that we saw on Omega in the original trilogy. Also, this graphic effect on the ends of the image have the colors of the Paragon and Renegade morality system, so we could be having them back. But what I'm asking for is that should the Renegade mechanics come back, I want them made so that it's not as extreme or cringe like it was in the original. But anyway, in the image we have a human, Asari, Tyrion, Hannah, and I think a Drow. It might not be, but it looks very much like a Drow. The Tyrion looks a lot like Garrus, but considering Andromeda, I assume this is a red herring. Also, there is a Geth with clothes. It looks like a knight, but it might be wearing clothes just to be like everyone else, or it could be a bartender. But that is no doubt a Geth, which is significant because of which ending was picked to be canon. So this means that the Destroyer ending might not be canon as many think it could be. Unless bioware retconned the ending where the Catalyst lied about the all synthetics being destroyed. Or it could be that Control is canon, because I don't see any way that Synthesis is canon, because there is no sign of green anywhere, and I just think that the Destroy and Control endings made more sense. But anyhow, the Geth are definitely back. Also, there is an Angara, which is even more interesting, and maybe this means the next game could be indeed set some time after Andromeda, because we didn't see them in the original trilogy, so somehow they are in the Milky Way. Also, this might mean that the mysterious Jardan who created the Angara and disappeared might not have just put the Angara in Andromeda, but they also might have some in the Milky Way after disappearing. Because I do have a feeling that since Andromeda takes place so far after the Reaper War, the Jardan could have simply come back to the Milky Way and are fighting with the rebuilding civilizations while those in Andromeda are still speculating. It could also be the opposite, as the Geth were curious about Andromeda, and it could be that they are in Andromeda, but I think it is likely that the Angara are in the Milky Way and that the Jardan have gone back to the Milky Way for some reason. And this proves much further that Andromeda is significant to the series than most thought. Going back to the armor, I think we might have discovered another thing. Remember the piece of N7 armor that Liara picked up from the ice near the end of the first trailer? What if this piece of armor doesn't come from Shepard's old armor, but instead from this new armor? And looking at this image here, I don't see why not. And while this is still quite subjective, it would make more sense, since maybe it means this character got captured and Liara is tracking the character down. And while it might be disappointed to those who are eager for Shepard to come back, I just have this feeling that if Mass Effect 5 is a sequel to Andromeda and Mass Effect 3, then I don't see Shepard coming back unless the Captain Shepard theory, which comes from the idea that the armor is from Shepard and Shepard is frozen in the ice like Captain America at the end of the first movie, is true. And even if the game doesn't end up being set centuries after Mass Effect 3 and instead takes place in a much shorter time after 3, I still don't think Shepard should return since their story is completed, and I think we need to start a new story with a new character to fresh up the franchise.
No, why?
And I will be honest, I don't care if the protagonist is Shepard or a completely new character. I will play the game anyway. All I ask is for bioware to make a good game with good gameplay and a good well-written story with well-written characters. But at the same time, I'm worried that Shepard's legacy may be ruined by bioware's writing. But since they have a great lead writer in Mary DeMar who wrote Deus Ex Human Revolution and Guardians of the Galaxy, which were two successful games, then there is a low chance that something like that might happen. Also, I want the story to be a bit more gritty, not necessarily dark, but gritty, because I think Mass Effect should show a bit more of a neo-noir tone to show how much has changed since the Reaper War. And to be honest, looking at how our player character is dressed up, it looks very much like that. So let's summarize and connect the dots. So I think the Mass Effect title could be Mass Effect Epsilon because I think this makes sense and it kind of ties into what I think could be the return of the Dark Energy plotlines, which might likely be a subplot that will develop her into a bigger plot at the end of a new trilogy if Mass Effect 5 is successful. Then I think the N7 character that was revealed is our player character, and the character works alongside Liara and the Geth. And I think that the Jardan will likely be the villains. And I have this feeling that they might reveal themselves to be an old race we knew all along. Maybe they might actually be the Protheans. Who knows what they could be. But I think the Jardan are likely the villains. And I want the ending to be the Control ending, but I have a feeling that the Destroy ending is retconned slightly so that the Geth and the other synthetics live. But this N7 Day 2023 has been everything that I hoped it would be. I'm grateful that I had this much to speculate on and theorize. I mean, all I expected was another poster, but we got a chopped up teaser trailer which is even better. And also, if you look at the text below, it notes that it is not CGI either, like the trailer we got at the Game Awards. It says in-engine, and to me that definitely looks like Unreal Engine 5, no doubt. So I'm really excited and I look forward to the next N7 Day. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe and smash the bell button, and I'll see you next time. Take care.